The most important thing, without a doubt, is watering. You've got your trees, you've got them back, you need to find somewhere where they are going to like to live. These trees here we class as indoor bonsai. They can put up with a little bit of cold, but I wouldn't say that they would like a really hard winter outside. So you need to look around your house and find somewhere that's got good daylight. Somewhere where it's not going to be near something that's going to be hot, like a radiator. So you've got good daylight coming in, not necessarily direct sunlight, because in the middle of summer that can get very hot. You've got to remember that if we get hot, we move away, we move out of the heat, or we go and get a glass of water or something like that. They can't do that. So we've got to find somewhere for them where they're going to be happy. Then you need to keep an eye on it for watering. You need to make sure that the soil is constantly moist. And this is where the finger test comes in. You put your finger on the soil. If the soil feels wet, you leave it. If the soil feels dry, then it needs water. The trick is to water it before the soil becomes dry. And if you can imagine, you have a cloth and you soak it in a bucket of water, then you take it out, it's wet. Then you wring it out really hard, damp. Now when the soil feels just like that damp cloth, that's when you need to water it. And you don't just come along with a little spoonful of water. Oh, it's a little bonsai, got to give it a little bit of water, all right? You can flood it. So I could come along with a great big watering can and I could put on loads of water. Because at the bottom of the pot, can you see that, Bob?
Right, some holes.
Some holes. All the excess water will drain out of those holes and will drain into a tray. We use good drainage soil. Got a lot of grit in it, so the water will just go straight down through and out the bottom. So it's not how much water you put on in one go, it's when you next water it. Next morning, you wake up, have your cornflakes, scrub your teeth, check your bonsai. Still wet. And you keep doing that, morning and evening, until the soil feels just damp again. Ooh, it's not wet, it's not dry, it's just damp. Good. Then you water it again. Put in sufficient water so that it drains down through the pot. Then you know that the soil is nice and wet all the way around. Don't just think, well, I've watered this bit here, because the back of the tree, the back of the pot might be drying out. All right, so a nice even layer of water that can just soak down through the soil. The other brilliant thing about watering is that it's not a problem. It is part of growing a bonsai. It is not one of those, oh no, I've got to go and water the bonsai. It is a time that you spend with your tree. While you're watching and the water drains down through the soil, you can just sort of have a little look. Oh yes, oh that looks good. Well, there's a few leaves there look changing colour. I wonder if that's all right. I'd better find out about that. Better have a closer look. All too often when people start off with something like this, start off with bonsai, you are doing other things as well throughout the day. So it's like, oh, I've got to go and water the bonsai. Stick some water on it and then you dash out the door and off you go to work. But if you can just allow just a little bit of time while you're allowing that water to drain down through, it gives you time with your tree. And the important thing with anything to do with bonsai is that you mustn't rush it. Over the years, I've become aware that it is a fantastic way of meditating. You're not really sitting down and just pretending that you're part of the universe and you switch off to everything and so on and so on. But it's just a way of looking at the little details. Oh yes, I like the way that bit pops out of there. A little shoot, there's a nice little shoot just growing out of there. And it helps to relax you. You switch off, sit down and enjoy it. And bonsai really, it's important. You can't rush it. You can't grow a bonsai quickly. People have said to me before, oh, isn't it a shame that it takes so long? Well, no, not really, because if you could do it quickly, it would lose some of its power. There's a saying in bonsai that, oh, next year it'll look fantastic. course, each year it should get better and better, but you have to learn to enjoy it now. And that's something really which I've learned about life. You know, oh, next year we'll do this, and oh, next year we'll do that, and you plan your retirement and you're going to do this. But really with life, we have to enjoy it now. Every day we should wake up with a big smile on our faces and think, yippee, let's go out there and do something fantastic.
Live for the moment.
Live for the moment. Enjoy it now while we have it. Anything can change very, very quickly.